Welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines. Summer movie season is here, guys. It's starting with Furiosa and the Garfield movie that opens up this weekend. Hey, if you don't know, this is a live news show for movie fans where we talk about the trending movie news headlines of the day, including what's going on with the Acolyte getting its first reactions out from Star Wars, right? That series that's coming out in June for Disney Plus. Dennis Quaid is playing Ronald Reagan. What? We talk about some of the AMC Theaters headlines out there, a lot of Netflix stuff. Not a whole lot, but we're going to start off today's show by talking about my Furiosa review. So, let me just get this ready and make sure that I got all my graphics and everything template set up, and it looks like we do, so should be going. We should be good to go for my movie review of Furiosa. So, James, are you doing this right or not? Sorry. I wanted to start it off with a big bang. I don't think I will. Here we go. This will be cut out and put up on the channel later on. Whoops! Gotta mute everything, James. Gotta mute. Furiosa is in theaters right now, guys, and I gotta tell you, it... Whoa. Oh, why is there such a break there? I want that fire shot to start us off. No, that one will do. That's a good shot. That'll be our opening shot. Sorry. Furiosa is in theaters right now, guys, and it is a good movie. This is my full review for Furiosa, so it'll be without spoilers. Maybe towards the end we'll get into it, but my initial impression of this is that it is awesome. And you'll know that when you go in and you see like the spectacle of like the scope of the visuals. The visuals sell you this. Anya Taylor-Joy as the Furiosa character does a great job. She picks up the mantle from Charlize Theron really well. But the real standout here is Chris Hemsworth as the villain, Dementis. We've all heard that he was going to be playing the bad guy well, ever since it was started, right? And we're like, well, he plays Thor. Can he do the bad guy? Yes, he can do the bad guy, and he does this weird voice. He talks in a very nasally voice that you would think that, well, I don't know if I like that for the villain, but he does it in such a way where it's kind of like creepy, and it works. It fits the world of Mad Max, and I was just taken by him because the bulk of the first part of the movie is carried by him because it's a much younger Furiosa that starts it off. So there's some time periods there. It's told in chapters style. So like you'll see like number 1, and here it'll have like a little line there, like for the theme of this chapter kind of thing. And later on, then when Anya Taylor-Joy shows up, that will be several chapters in itself. So my main impression is that it's good. You should see it out on the big screen. It is got all the big sound. Don't worry about the visual effects. People were complaining about the visual effects in the first trailer, saying, well, it looks a little, I don't know, a little too CGI. Yeah, you can tell at times that they're using maybe perhaps volume technology, but you give it a pass because the story is so compelling. It sucks you in. It makes you go, oh, okay, I care about what's going on here. I want to see what's going on. And once you get into like the big action sequences, you're like, whatever. I was a little bit shocked that I was a little bit taken by the political side of things going on, like the different factions, because we know that Mortan Joe is in this, right? The villain of Fury Road. And Dementis is kind of like a rival faction, and there's like this jockeying for power that's going on within the wasteland, right? And Furiosa is just caught up in between all of that. And I liked that aspect of it. I thought that was very, very well done. The cast brings back some familiar faces from Fury Road, but uh, Tom Burke joins the cast here. Layla Brown, Angus Sampson. Who is that big guy that plays? Nathan Jones is back as Rictus Erectus. And then he's got a brother, Scrotus. The names are just, yeah, maybe a little too on the nose, but it's good overall, and it's a great theatrical experience. Yeah, I can't. There's really not much to say without spoiling too much, other than that, um, because if we get into some of the character developments, like Tom Burke here as Praetorian Jack, we see him here. Um, we see him here. There's a nice storyline with him in there. And you think, okay, is it going to be kind of like a romantic thing? Because we've seen them like holding heads or whatever. But he's kind of like a mentor role for Furiosa. And when I see him and I'm like, wow, he looks a lot like a younger version of Stacy Keach. Like he's got Stacy Keach written all over him. And that's cool. I like that. I like that they played into that with like a little bit of the scar on his face there is a little bit like Keach, right? Like I like when they do that and pay respects to other actors out there, or like take inspiration, right? If you don't know who Stacy Keach is, he's like a legendary actor. But anyway, uh, getting back to Furiosa, those are my initial thoughts. It's a bit long uh, to start because we're jumping around time periods with Furiosa. I think we get three different versions of her, like a smaller girl version, and then a mid-range teen version, and then we get uh, Anya Taylor-Joy. And as we go throughout those time periods, it's like we see the evolution of Dementis as well, taking over parts of the wasteland and stuff like that. And some people will be like, just get to the Anya Taylor-Joy part, get to that part. And it's like, well, guys, just let it sit a bit. It takes a while to get into that part of the story, but I appreciated it because of what George Miller was doing by building this mythos behind the wasteland politics, so that when the battles actually start going down, you're like, okay, I understand what's going on here. I actually am intrigued by them using this as kind of like a ruse and stuff like this as a trap. There's some great scenes with Immortan Joe back at the Citadel where he rolls up for the first time and it's like, oh, aren't we just going to take things over? So, yeah, really, you think you're going to just pull up on the Citadel like that? There's stuff like that that'll be like, okay, I'll give that all. If you thought it was boring, I'll give it a pass. But that's my initial thoughts of Furiosa. Let's go over to my score sheet, and then we'll go over to the Rotten Tomato meter and see what people are saying. My score sheet for Furiosa. Acting, directing, and story are out of a possible 2 points each. Cinematography and score are out of a possible 1 point each. Guys, I got to tell you straight up that the acting here, it's good. 1.5. Is there anything Academy Award winning in here? Not really. Like Hemsworth is having fun, and I'm going to be honest, I think I may come back to acting and bump it up to 2. Nah, I am. I'm going to give acting a full 2 because of Chris Hemsworth. Uh, he just like there's a part where you see his plans falling apart and he just goes into rage mode and you see that transformation in him, and it's like, okay, he's more than just kind of like that kind of uh, funny bad guy. He's a little bit more serious, right? He means business. Because you've seen in the trailers, he does a lot of screaming and yelling, but then there's also some other dark malevolence to him that's kind of like, okay, he does a really good job. Directing wise, I'm going to give 1.5 because all of the driving and like fight sequences are really well done. Story wise, I'm going to also give 1.5. I got to cut down some because, and I don't know if it'll change maybe on repeat viewings, but there is some pacing issues in there, I would say. There's a certain time in about like the hour and a half mark where if you need to go use the washroom, you should be fine and you're not going to miss any part of the story because they do a lot to do world building in this, right? So there is some issues in there for that. Cinematography is going to get a full point. Cinematography is going to get a full point because just the striking visuals. You heard me say it right up off the bat. Uh, like even if you think that, oh well, those are just visual effects, or that's just a green screen shot, but you got to look at the context of what's like if you just freeze framed it and it's like, okay, no, that's rich. That's like a panel out of a comic book. Like you can tell where George Miller's getting his inspirations from, and it's an amazing experience on the big screen, guys. I can't champion that enough. So the score, the score is also good. The score, you're going to notice right away when the opening starts up and you hear that dun dun dun, like from Fury Road kind of thing, right? And you're like, oh, okay. Like I'm getting goosebumps about it right now. You're just like, I'm back. The score helps set the tone for it and makes you realize, okay, yes, I'm back in this. I'm back in this. I'm happy that we're here. I didn't think I would like this, or I was a little bit doubtful of it, but don't worry. Once you're there and you start to see the visuals and what he's trying to achieve with this, um, like the opening sequence, like it's heartbreaking, it's impactful, and then you realize, oh wait, yes, the other parts of the movie, we're going to get to Anya Taylor-Joy, we're going to get to Immortan Joe and the big road fighting sequences and chases and war. That part's still coming, and it's like, okay, no, this is a big theatrical summer blockbuster, and guys, uh, it's awesome. It's a great experience. I wish I could turn on the sound for this because like look at these shots. It's amazing. Witness me. Yeah, witness Furiosa. I can't champion that enough. Let's go over to the tomato meter and see what people are saying about Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. 89% by critics, 96 by the audience, and that's about expected. We knew that the critic score was around 87 at the beginning of the week, right? Uh, but now it's come up to 89%. It's certified fresh. 96 by the audience for the people who have seen it. Guys, it's just a fun time at the movies, and you'll be just intoxicated with what Chris Hemsworth is doing with this. So let's take a look at some of the snapshot reviews here from the audience. Awesome addition to the Mad Max universe. Here's to George Miller completing his saga with hopefully at least one more Mad Max adventure in this. I hope so too. I hope there's going to be another Mad Max film. Is there a cameo in here from Mad Max like Tom Hardy? No. Don't expect that. Is there a wink wink? Is that possibly Max there? Maybe. Sort of. Expect something like that for this. This is all about Furiosa, Dementis, and Immortan Joe. This is like you could tell that maybe perhaps it's alluding to where Max could be. That's what I would say. That's what I would tell people to expect. So what's the other person here who said this movie is incredible? This is a testament that female protagonists can deliver when it's organic to the story. Yes, it can. Yes, Hemsworth played the villain to perfection. Great. That's from a fan. And I want to just quickly touch on this because this will be a point of contention for some people because they'll be like, well, if it's just a female being the main character, then they're just trying to shoehorn, some kind of political agenda into this. And no, guys, even though that there's some politics going on in the realm of like the wasteland, it's not gender politics within our reality or anything like this. This has nothing to do with our society right now. Like there's analogies to it, of course, and there's like a critique on how people deal with power and stuff like that, and their lust and thirst for greed. There's like those, but those are classic tropes. Those are classic things that happen in almost every movie. So you can't get away from that. But like her being like a Mary Sue or anything like that, don't no, it's nothing like that. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. That's what I would say. Okay, let's go up and take a look at some of what the critics are saying because this is where I want to see the more apt criticisms. Not that the fans are wrong or anything, but I just want to make sure that we get some Professional reviews here from Sean Chandler. George Miller continues to deliver thrilling adventures in the world of Mad Max. This time, the focus is on much more sprawling story and building out the world of the wasteland. So, pretty much echoing what I said about the politics in the wasteland there. Leonard Maltin. I bought into Furiosa's eye-popping visuals 100%. Kudos to George Miller for delivering a prize package of entertainment well worth seeing on a big theater screen. Yeah, I saw it on AVX Sound with the big screen. I was like so tempted to go out to the IMAX, and I may even still go out to the IMAX. It's that good. This is one of the few movies where I'd be like, I have no problem going to see this movie again. Okay, I'm looking for somebody who didn't like it here, guys, and this is going to be a kind of a hard pressed here thing. Someone of repute. I don't see like I wanted to see if Variety or somebody didn't like it. Uh, so this person didn't like it. Rachel reviews. The biggest problem with Furiosa is how bloated and repetitive it becomes. Really repetitive. I wouldn't say that. And this is from female criticism. The movie Minute. I'm all for origin stories that make sense intellectually. And this one does. But shouldn't it make sense emotionally too? Well, did you not watch the opening act and what made Furiosa so bitter towards Dementis? That seems pretty emotional to me. So I'm going to discount this criticism right up off the bat. And that opening scene sets the tone for everything that's driving Furiosa throughout the rest of the movie. So that like what, did you not watch the movie? Were you going to get popcorn at that point? Did you arrive late to the movie? Michael Phillips from the Chicago Tribune. Even amid new depths of misery, Furiosa still delivers the clean, electrifying inches above asphalt camera perspectives that made the cinemascope shot Mad Max so arresting nearly 2 generations ago. Yeah. Yep. So, Hollywood Toto, or whatever the heck that is. Bloated prequel doubles down on action, leaves us woozy and confused. Confused. Again, it's a tale of getting revenge and like uh, you know what do you mean confused? Like they make it very clear where the factions are. Like this, it's that reeks of people just not paying attention. Boston Globe. Perhaps I'm burned out by prequel itis, but Furiosa felt like Miller and his co-writer were playing a convoluted game of connect the dots to sync up with the plot of Fury. No, no, this is not driving towards the events of Fury Road, by the way. Okay, so let's address that. Like, if you want this to connect in just like Rogue One is to Fury Road, it has like after the movie's done kind of thing, a connection to it. It does. Like you'll see, it must have been like uh, unused footage of like the girls getting onto the truck at the end, kind of thing. What in Fury Road, there's like that kind of thing, but it's not like a direct kind of like okay, we just got the Death Star plans like Rogue One. It's not like that. There's still room in this story where okay, if we want to learn more about Furiosa and her time with Immortan Joe, then perhaps we can explore that. There's still room for that, I would say. So you get the impression here. Most critics liked it. There's the odd few one here, but it's none of the big, huge trades that are saying that they disliked it. And as the fans came out and said that they really liked it, the scores overall, guys, um, look good. 89%, 96%, and are setting the stage here by saying that you should go out and see this movie and you'll have a fun time doing it. Okay, so let's go over and finish up my score and see where I sit. Watchability factor. If you liked Fury Road, then you'll want to check it out. It's worth seeing in the theater for sure. I would go out and see it again. I just said that I would on IMAX. I would, and in fact, this may be one of the movies of the few that I do buy on 4K or Blu-ray. I'm going to own this one. 9 out of 10. Like it's that good, guys. Yes, Furiosa is that good. Like what was the last one that we gave this one big? Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It's on that scope, and it sets the tone for the rest of the summer. That, yes, without a doubt, the summer movies are here. 9 out of 10 for Furiosa, guys. Thumbs up. I want to watch it again. It's that good. Go and see it if you can. See it on the big IMAX or something. Let me know if it's really worth it, paying that extra cash, because I think it probably is. I think it probably is. All right. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, and we will talk about it. Uh, there's really not much more to talk about, like in terms of spoilers. Like we can get into some nuance of like character decisions, but what do you think happens? Seriously, uh, Dementis and Immortan Joe are fighting each other, and she's caught up in between, and she's got real beefs with Dementis. So what do you think happens? What do you think Dementis kills her in the end? Well, obviously not if she shows up in Fury Road, right? Right. So there's not that much to spoil about it. Uh, Maybe I'll talk a little bit more after this, but if not, see you next time on Mirror Domains. Yeah, and I liked how they handled the end of Dementis. I really did, because it was one of those things where it's kind of like you choose how he died. You choose. Was she mean to him, or yeah? I like how it was a little. It was a. They were trying to paint it a little bit ambiguous. Of course, he's going to get his comeuppance. You want to see him get his comeuppance, right? And I like how they played into that. And there's a great speech that kind of like monologue that Chris Hemsworth has that we've seen a little bit of it in the trailers when he like turns to her and says, uh, "Can you make it epic?" He's talking about her becoming like him, right? And it's like, if you do this, you're going to go down and become just like me. And she's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not, because what Dementis does throughout the entire movie uh, is much worse than what Furiosa could ever do. And I don't feel like that's really spoiling too much. I like the way that that was handled. Great movie, guys. Go see it in the theaters. All right. So let's move on to some other topics, because I'm only going to be on for about another 30 minutes or so, because I got to head out and go to work today. Uh, let's go and put up some live chat stuff. Chris Schober, hello, James. Isn't there the Garfield movies? Yeah, we'll talk about that one. Isn't Beetlejuice going to have a ghost sequel? I don't know. For Beetlejuice? I don't know. We'll get there. All right. So Furiosa opens up this week. Let's go over to the theater listings and see what else is opening up. The Garfield movie also opens up. So, guys, I got to be brutally honest here. I know my niece wants to go see it, but it's not getting the best of 38%. Yeah, it's dropped. It used to be like around 50, right? So the people that are going out to see it are like, James, this is cringe. This is no good. Um, yeah, Garfield. A delightfully wacky origin story. Do we need an origin story for Garfield? Uh, he's a lazy cat that likes to eat lasagna. Um, I know that the cuteness memes out there is probably what's going to win people over, and it's probably going to be big enough that people will be like, I don't care about the substance of the story. I don't care if it's got a confusing narrative or a narrative that's so silly that if it were a live action, then we wouldn't watch it. Because it's a cartoon, then we're going to let it have it a pass. That's probably what you're going to get from Garfield. If it's still in theaters, this new movie called Sight that's out, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Strangers Chapter 1, Back to Black, Fall Guy, Unsung Hero, that religious movie still in the theaters. Hey, that still makes its audience. Over on Netflix, though, you can catch Atlas, the new Jennifer Lopez movie, in which we will be watching that here tomorrow morning, guys. Live, full reaction for Atlas, 9 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, I know it's a bit early, but I have to go to work after that. So I just want to make sure that we hit all of our buttons here. And I am really excited about Atlas because I like Jennifer Lopez, and I like her work on Netflix. Last year, she did a movie called Mother, and I dug that, but people are not being kind to it. 11% on the tomato meter, 59 by the audience. Oi! So the movie's about a brilliant data analyst with a deep distrust of AI. Uh, finds itself finds it may be her only hope when a mission to capture a renegade robot goes awry. All right. So William Bibbiani says they didn't like it. Hidden somewhere beneath all of the generic dialogue, embarrassing plot, mediocre action, and oddly ineffective performances, there's a good idea in Brad Payton's Atlas. It's a shame that the filmmakers never found it. Okay, so I don't want to go too much into the analysis critiques just yet because I want to try to go on and watch this movie with a little bit of, my only bias being that I like Jennifer Lopez and I like the concept of her doing a sci-fi movie and I like the concept of it being kind of like about AI. And I'll give it a fair shake. I will. So come join us for that tomorrow morning, guys. Um, that's pretty much all that's opening up. That's pretty much out. What's that Sight movie? Sight is about a Chinese prodigy starring Greg Kinnear, follows the true story of Dr. Ming Wang, a Chinese immigrant who defies all odds to become a world renowned eye surgeon. So that's why it's called Sight. It's interesting. Dr. Wang sets out to restore the sight of a blind orphan. So it's a feel good story. It's weird how this has completely flown under the radar. It's right here in my face, and I'm like, I like the premise. I don't know if I'm going to go out and see it. Maybe I should go see Sight instead of Garfield. I, if I had my druthers, that's what I would do. I really don't want to see Garfield. I really don't. And because you know what's going to happen. I just said it that people will be, they'll be blinded by the cuteness memes. Oh, it's cute, so I like it. But the story sucks. But it's cute, so I like it. So are you really a movie fan then? Do you really care about movies? If that's all that matters to you? Ah, well, you do you. Over here, we move on and we talk about other movie news headlines. Selena Gomez on insane audition for Jacques Audiard's Cannes breakout Emilia Perez. I just surrendered and completely gave myself. Well, that's what you have to do when you take on a role, right? You got to surrender. So, yeah, this movie, Emilia Perez, has gotten a lot of buzz over at Cannes. She got like a standing ovation for her performance. Musical comedy, and I am a big Selena Gomez fan. So it looks like the director, this Jacques Audiard, got some good performances out of her. Edgar Ramirez, Zoe Saldana round out the cast. Fascinating. I do want to check it out. Mexico today, lawyer Rita receives an unexpected offer. She has to help a feared cartel boss retire from his business and disappear forever by becoming the woman he always dreamed of being. So it's a little bit about like a transition story as well. But I am curious about it because of Selena Gomez. So it's getting some good buzz. And if she's giving, like, she's a good actress. She is. I liked her in Spring Breakers, even though she was just like a small part in that. I never watched like her Nickelodeon stuff or like, the made straight for TV movie kind of stuff, like Ramona and Beezus or whatever. I never watched any of those. So, Saldana plays the lawyer. So, Selena Gomez is the drug lord's wife. Really? Edgar Ramirez is a dangerous love interest. Okay. Hmm. Selena is awesome, though. So there's a big article up on Hollywood Reporter about this if you are wanting to check that out. Also at Cannes. This is a story that we should probably cover again because people are wanting to see. People want to see Demi Moore fully nude for some reason. Because she's a woman, I guess. And it's instinctual, James. Don't you know how human instincts work? Well, yeah, I guess. Demi Moore, Khan's shocker. The substance sells wide. And we knew that it had originally been picked up by Mubi, this movie called The Substance, uh, 2024. A fading celebrity decides to use a black market drug, a cell replacing substance that temporarily creates a younger, better version of herself. So Demi Moore is the older lady, and Margaret Qualley is Sue, the younger version of her, right? Also has Dennis Quaid. Hmm, interesting. So it was picked up by Mubi, but now we're getting more distribution uh, across Asia and Europe because it's a hot item. People like this because it is one of those things. It is being marketed where it is full frontal nudity, and people want to see that. So they're like Demi Moore, of course. Why not? James, don't be crass. I'm not. I'm trying to be tactful about it, guys. But it's what sells, I guess. Tiffany Hofstadter is the stylist. Do I know that name? Why does that name sound familiar? It doesn't. Hofstadter. Because of the Big Bang Theory, James. Oh, okay. I got it. Um, that's the name of Leonard, right? So yeah, it did well at Cannes. Looking forward to seeing Dennis Quaid in this. Apparently, he's going to be in a movie where he plays Ronald Reagan. Weird. Margaret Qualley, great actress. We just last saw her in Drive-Away Dolls. She was really good in that. So there they are. And it's kind of like body horror. The image that we saw is of like her on the table or on the bathroom floor. And okay, what is she, like some kind of icon, uh, aerobics icon or something? Yeah, that's the image of like the back all cut out and stuff like that. So for a brief time, you morph into a younger version of yourself, and it's supposed to be like Cronenbergian, very Cronenbergian, right? Maybe a little bit of David Lynch. Uh, so we don't have an exact release date yet because this thing is hot. It's just got picked up at Cannes. Mubi has the rights for the North American release, but it is confirmed that while Mubi does hold the rights for North America, UK, Ireland, and Germany, and all these other countries, they are finalizing plans for a theatrical release for it. So even if it doesn't play in the big theaters, it will come to the art house theaters and we will see it there. What starts as a social satire soon slips deep into gory horror territory. Moore's character takes on bloody revenge on the system that rejected her and her aging body, only to find out that she's at war with herself. Okay, so she wants to become younger because she used to be like this big icon or something like that and told that she's too old, maybe. I like that angle. And I like Demi Moore. And a lot of you guys like fully frontal nudity, so you might want to check that out. All right, that's that story. The Acolyte. This is quite the pivot. I don't know if I can do this. Can I do this? Oh, I forgot to do the Netflix story. We'll go back to that. We'll go back to the Netflix stuff, but let's go back. Let's pivot to the Acolyte. I first social reactions to the Acolyte celebrate dark mystery, superb performances, and stellar action of the new Star Wars series, The Acolyte. So, yes, I saw that Perry Nemiroff posted her initial reactions. We go over to the tomato meter here, though, but there's nothing posted. Refresh it, James. Refresh it. We gotta see if there's something there. No. So Lee Jung Jae, the guy from Squid Games, is going to be the main character in this. You notice that Carrie Ann Moss is not getting top billing because, from what I've heard, she's only in it for one episode, which sucks. Um, so the initial reactions out there have been, I think, for the most part, kind, maybe. Um, let's just take a look. Acolyte gives me Kill Bill vibes. Every episode left me wanting more in a good way. We've seen so much about the fall of the Jedi, but this explores what Jedi were like during peacetime, which is quite fascinating. Is it? And look at those fake lightsabers again. God, and this is what the lightsabers look like in the show, like toys. Anyway, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Uh, the Acolyte is the Force-sensitive version of Andor. The cast is stellar. The writing of each episode is jam-packed. Well, if you compare it to Andor, that's pretty bold. We watched Andor here, and I was pleasantly surprised how awesome Andor was. The cast is stellar. The writing of each episode is jam-packed. Practical sets and amazing costumes, as well as visual effects work, make every location feel lived in while having an emotional through line to keep it focused. Well, I'm really looking forward to the Saul character. That's the guy from Squid Game. I don't really care about this girl. Like she's the bad guy or something like that. She's the acolyte, I guess. The apprentice that's kind of delving into the dark side. So early reviews out for that, guys. What do you think about that? I'm gonna have to backtrack here and do this Netflix story that I forgot to that I kind of leapfrogged over. Um, Here we go. Netflix. It's got a couple of headlines. Let's get into it. Leave the World Behind tops all Netflix viewing for the second half of 2023 with 121 million views. Really? Leave the World Behind. That's that end of the world movie with uh, Ethan Hawke and uh, her, Julia Roberts. James, I couldn't spit it out. And get that stupid smile off your face. This is one of the reasons why I couldn't get into One Piece is because of that smile. But it's based on anime, James. That's the way how it's supposed to be. Well, it took me out of it. Anyway, because it's like, are we doing something serious here or what? No, we're not. Okay, fine. Anyway, you don't need to hear my criticisms of that, do we? Um, Netflix viewing for second half of 2023. One Piece leads TV with 71.6 views. Well, hopefully, well, this is just for Netflix's ratings. Is there any better series on Netflix right now that's better than One Piece? Prime seems to be where it's at. Prime has got Reacher, it's got Fallout. Netflix, every couple of years, will have Stranger Things, and that seems to be about it. They cancel everything. Just as you get into something on Netflix, it's like the season cancels. And I guess if One Piece is going to be the second one up there for people, fine. I won't poo poo all over One Piece anymore. Netflix, though, buys Glenn Powell and Anthony Mackie and Laura Dern legal drama Monsanto. It was sold at Cannes. We like Anthony Mackie here. And Glenn Powell you can't get any name hotter than that right now. He's going to be in Twisters next month. Looking forward to that. I got nothing against, I got one thing against Laura Dern, that Holdo movie. Admiral Holdo. God, that's the only thing I got I'll hold against her. What a terrible, ugh, ugh. Anyway, this is not about that, James. This is about a legal drama called Monsanto. It's a buzzy package from this year's Cannes Film Festival. Okay, so what's this about? It tells the true story of a young upstart lawyer, played by Powell. Okay, so he'll be our main character. That's a good choice. Who took us on the court case against the giant U.S. chemical company Monsanto on behalf of Dwayne Lee Johnson. Okay, played by Mackie. Johnson used the company's product Roundup, a top selling weed and grass pesticide killer, as part of his job as a high school groundskeeper. During the trial, Monsanto Company's chief toxicologist, Dr. Melinda Rogers Dern, testifies that Roundup is safe. Hancock also wrote the screenplay. Okay, so it's not safe, is what they're saying. The chemical they used to put for the grass is not safe, and what gave him cancer or made kids sick. I don't know the real story. but I'm glad that they're shedding some light on it. Netflix seems to be good at picking up stuff like that. They need to get up on their TV game. Oh, Netflix also has Fubar, right? With Arnold. We like that. They've also got like the older stuff like Star Trek Next Generation and stuff, but whatever. So those are the Netflix headlines that we missed. Let's go and talk about this AMC story. Or did I forget to put Spielberg in there as well? God, man, I threw this together so haphazardly at the end here. Uh, yes, Variety, and I saw this Winston. What's that guy that's on Harloff? Winston. He did a big kind of editorial on his uh, YouTube page the other day about how theaters are struggling and stuff. It was very Winston Marshall, is that his name? He did a good video of that. Anyway, Variety's got a big article up on this too. We're still here. AMC Theaters is struggling with 4.5 million in debt and surviving thanks to Taylor Swift, viral popcorn buckets, and more. And this is the topic that's kind of like you can't get away from these days. Theaters are just they're not selling out. People just are not going, and is it because people are rude in the theaters or they're always on their phones? It's just it's it's a it's a tough nut to crack because when I went to see Furiosa last night, the big release, so the 3 o'clock, nobody's bought a ticket for it yet. This is why I'm saying that when the Deadpool and Wolverine movie is like, don't worry, guys, this is for the 7 o'clock show, prime time. It's not even like what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 15 people have only bought it. Now that's not to say that once the like there's still the old people that go to the theater that want to buy their tickets when they get there because they for some reason still haven't learned that you can just buy it online easier and get your ticket like that. The 10:30 show, nobody's there, one person, whatever. Um, People just are not going out to the theater in droves anymore. And I wish that we can turn that around because you know that I love movies and I'm looking at answers. Everybody's coming up for answers. Yeah. And as I said, Winston Marshall put up a great video the other day about that, talking about it. He broke it down a lot better than I am going to do here. He looked at it from different angles and stuff like that. Or was it the pandemic or is it just the cost of going too much? It's $100 if you got three people who want popcorn and stuff like that. Yeah, that's how much it is, guys. So uh, I don't think it's that. Um, I ultimately think it's the way that we consume media, right? Uh, it's about people like a lot of people watch movies on this, right? And we champion big sound, uh, comfortable seating when they don't care. They would rather. There's people that would have no problem sitting in a lawn chair, looking watching a movie like Furiosa on their phone. Like I think a lot of theaters are missing the point here with putting in uh, the seats that vibrate and stuff like that. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Uh, there's something about the scale of it. I think the Cineplexes, for the most part, are past their prime. We've got to adapt the model. We've got to change with the times. I'm not saying that we don't need auditoriums that can hold 300 to 400 people, like in the big stadium seatings. Cineplex should have maybe two or three of those, and then the rest downsize. Downsize to smaller screening rooms, have a little bit more intimacy kind of thing. It's still big screens, still big sound, but focus in on that kind of stuff. And then, you know, operating costs, right? Um, do you need that much space for the theater? Do you? Would you need that, right? Um, Transformative space is what you would need. I don't know. I'm just, I'm grasping at straws, and everybody is to figure out what's going on with the theater business. AMC with that, and like the popcorn things are fun, like the Dune popcorn bucket. Everybody had fun with that. But that's not why you go to the theater, right? You go to see because of great experiences. And it sucks that, well, Furiosa is good, and like this is why you should go to the theater to see movies like Furiosa. Do you need to go to the theater to see something like the Garfield movie? Do you really need to go to the theater to see this movie? Is there anything in there in the scope of what Garfield is that says I need to see that in a theater with on the big screen with the big sound? And it's like, well, James, you just don't understand because you're not a kid. Well, these, I just, or is it like movies like Chapter One, Strangers Chapter One, that people don't need to go see in the theater? Yeah, it's movies like Strangers Chapter One. I should use that as my analogy instead of Garfield. Kids' movies sell. You know what sells? Nudity. We just learned that from the Demi Moore story, right? That's what's got people so intrigued. That's the eye-catching headline. Is it possible that theatrical movies have become too tame? I don't know. Dennis Quaid takes on that role of Ronald Reagan. There's a trailer out for this. I don't know about this, guys. Do you want to see that on the big screen? I like Dennis Quaid. Um, now, this trailer is not.
He's running for governor.
This is about his early life, right? When he's becoming a governor. Uh, this was like in the 80s, 70s, right? Late 70s, because he wasn't president until 85, right? Or like around that time, because I'm just remembering that from Back to the Future. Reagan, first footage, official synopsis, directed by Sean McNamara. All right, 48 minutes, guys. What do you think about that? Do you want to see that? Beetlejuice 2, officially confirmed surprise Batman Returns reunion. Okay, so who's the reunion from Batman Returns? Fans can expect Danny DeVito cameo in Beetlejuice trailer. What? Did we see him in that? I don't remember. I don't remember seeing Danny DeVito. It would be cool if it was. Yeah, look at that. Jenna Ortega. Looking forward to that. I'm not going to go through it beat for beat. Let me see if I can pull that up. Uh, Danny DeVito Beetlejuice trailer. I want the image, guys. I want the still frame. So they're saying that these are still images from the trailer. That's Danny DeVito. It looks like he's like a custodian or something that gets electrocuted. Okay, well that's fun. Danny DeVito is always fun. Well, he was really good at the Academy Awards last year, or this last year, wasn't he? He came out with Arnold. All right, I can't believe I missed this one too. Yeah, it's that type of show. Steven Spielberg sets new film for summer 2026, reunites with Jurassic Park and War of the Worlds screenwriter. Okay. Spielberg, one of the all time greats. He's in the top three for a lot of people. He's not in my top three. He's good, really good. Top 10 for sure for me. There's something about his approach to trying to make it sentimental that doesn't always land for me, right? He'll shoehorn in things that'll be kind of like, well, that doesn't fit tonally. If you don't know, like the end of Saving Private Ryan when he says, "Am I worthy? And was I worth it?" Kind of thing. Like that. That's the sentimentality that I'm trying to convey here of him shoehorning it in, kind of thing, right? Or Liam Neeson at the end of Schindler's List of like, could I have saved more? like that kind of thing. It's like ah, but like those are genius strokes for some people. Strokes of the brush, I mean. So what has he got next? I like the Fablemans was really good. West Side Story, you guys know about that. But you're not giving me a synopsis or anything. In 2026, from Universal is backing the movie. We open May 15th, 2026. It's unclear what the untitled project, which the studio described as a new original event film. Yeah, Spielberg was working on a UFO story. Is it going to be like that? Pull up the IMDb, James. This is the last thing I had pulled anyway. Steven Spielbergo. What? E.T.'s really rough around the edges. That one has not aged well. I like I you thought like at the time the puppet work was really well, it was good, but it doesn't hold up to scrutiny. It doesn't. So he's got a lot of. I don't want his producing stuff. I want his directing stuff. Napoleon TV miniseries, an entitled Frank Bullet Project. So that's what IMDb has. Is that what this untitled Frank Bullet thing is for 2026? Based on a character played by Steve McQueen? I don't see any mention here of a UFO story. Huh. Yeah. Well, that's all I got in the can for today, guys. I didn't expect it to go long. I got to get ready for work here. So, to see if I missed anything here. Knives Out. Who would you like to see cast in Knives Out movie? Wake Up Dead Man and Knives Out Mystery. Is that the title of the next movie? Knives Out 3. Wake Up Dead Man. Cool. Set for 2025 release. What? Seriously? Huh. Anya Taylor Joy I want to see in Knives Out 3. That's my answer. Anna de Armas, Leah Sadu. Saoirse Ronan in Knives Out 3 is what I like to see. Elle Fanning. Happy birthday to Daisy Edgar Jones. Well, happy birthday. Going to see her in Twisters next. Tom Holland and Zendaya leaving press night for Romeo and Juliet. Kind of a bit of a shorter haircut there, huh? Saoirse Ronan for Louis Vuitton. All right. I don't think I'm. Melissa Barrera. Oh, my. Oh, wow. Give that the old heart. Abigail was so much fun, guys. She's a really talented actress. I don't care about her statements about the war that's going on, a war that's going across overseas. I don't care about her statements about like if it's offensive to certain groups of people. James, that's unkind of you to say. Don't you know I don't want innocent people dying. That's all I'm going to say about it. Some new character posters for Beetlejuice 2. Winona Ryder's aged well. She's like in her 50s now, right? All right. That's all I got to do, guys. I got to cut out my Furiosa review and put that up separately. So pay attention to that. Um, enjoy your weekend. Go and see Furiosa and Garfield movie. Let me know what you thought about the Garfield. If not, join us tomorrow for Atlas, 9 a.m. And if not, I'll see you next time right here on Your Domains.